if they're not using us for a bow shot, have us come with you, and then like they could drive, and maybe you us pitch in like a couple dollars for gas, and then they could like help you shoot, so then you guys could kind of tag team it, and you would get done sooner. I would suggest that because Polikoff, I feel like always is out with someone, but he's sports, so I feel like with sports, they're either like out shooting at night because they're doing the piece for that, or he's been working as franchise fees. I don't think he's been day of reporter yet. No, because he's co-anch today.
We are exactly the same schedule, me and Elliot.
Yeah, so he won't. So yeah, so someone's gonna have to do it for him too. That's a good idea.
That day, that week, it's like people are just gonna be driving us around.
Let's be like, here. Okay. Yeah.
Coming up on NCC News.
Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner came down to City Hall this morning to kick off Pride Week in a big way.
And find out why the Crunch are happy to be back on the road. Plus,
the Syracuse Say Yes to Education program celebrated its 5-year anniversary today at John C. Roberts School.
NCC News at 4:45 is next. Today, Mayor Miner and the city of Syracuse celebrate the contributions of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people throughout our city. Hello and welcome to NCC News at 4:45. I'm Elliot Polikoff.
And I'm Kayla Bennett. It's been an eventful 2 years for the LGBTQ community. 2 years ago, in 2011, New York State legalized gay marriage. Every year in Syracuse, a rainbow flag is raised in honor of Syracuse's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning community, also known as LGBTQ. NCC's Allison Nachman is live in the studio with more on what happened down at City Hall earlier today. Allison?
Not even the rain that began at around 11:30 this morning could keep people from coming down to City Hall. The annual rainbow flag raising was moved inside the lobby of City Hall, where Mayor Miner reflected on the advances of marriage equality in Syracuse and across New York State. Mayor Stephanie Miner spoke before a packed lobby in City Hall, surrounded by members of the Common Council and leaders of the LGBTQ community. She led a ceremony honoring the progress made to advance gay rights in Syracuse and the United States.
And progress happens because we all put our shoulder to it and work towards it. The arc of history bends towards progress, as Dr. King said.
The rainbow flag that was raised outside the steps of City Hall marked the official start to Pride Week. Over the next few days, there's a variety of different Pride events, ending in a parade on Saturday. For those that gathered, the message of the day was progress and equality.
People like us have children, have families, we're volunteers, we're the doctors, the lawyers, and we go to church on Sunday and eat dinner and pray before we eat. I mean, we're just like any other human being on earth, and we need to be treated, as the Constitution says, equally.
Since gay marriage has been legalized in New York State, over 500 couples in Syracuse alone have gotten married, some to partners that they've been with for over a decade. While there has been advancements in gay rights, there's still a long way to go. I spoke to the president of CNY Pride before the flag-raising ceremony, and he said the fight for marriage equality is about a lot more than the right to get married.
Not talking actually about gay marriage or lesbian marriage or any of those things. We're actually talking about treating people the same. We are seeing and have seen over time a greater recognition of of the rights and equality for gays and lesbians within the broader central New York area, although we still fight against discrimination.
One change he hopes to see is for the Supreme Court to declare the Defense of Marriage Act unconstitutional. Some people thought that the Supreme Court might have made a decision today on the gay marriage case, but so far, nothing. Live in the newsroom, I'm Allison Achman.
Thanks, Allison. It's great to see so many people, line up for these parades and events.
Absolutely. Will there be any more events coming up?
Yeah, well, actually, there's going to be a parade on Saturday, and we'll have more information about this week's Pride events on our website at nccnewsonline.com.
Thanks. A second person has been identified in the homicide of Andre Rosio Claudio that took place on Sabine Street a little over a week ago. Syracuse police have charged 26-year-old Syracuse native Maximino Alvarez with second-degree murder. He was arraigned in city court yesterday, and the investigation is still ongoing.
And Soundgarden enthusiasts won't have to worry about finding a new place for music shopping. Today, the Syracuse Common Council voted to approve an amendment to the city's secondhand dealer law. Under the amendment, downtown stores that sell secondhand music, movies, or video games will not have to wait 7 days before selling used items they purchase from customers.
Residents, business owners, and drivers across Syracuse are speaking out now in a public hearing about I-81. At about 4 o'clock, the Common Council opened the formal hearing to the general public about what to do with a controversial highway.
The issue is I'm not sure anybody loves any of the plans. That's the problem.
Currently, there are two main options on the table. One consists of building a wider and elevated highway. The other option requires tearing the highway down and replacing it with a 6-lane street level boulevard.
Drivers start planning alternate routes if you use Highway 690 to get around. Starting Friday morning, westbound 690 will be closed from the 81 North ramp through West Street. Instead of keeping one lane open for minimal traffic, the Department of Transportation is shutting down the entire section for what should be a quicker fix.
This will close it down entirely, but get out of there in 2 weeks. So it's going to be, yes, a major inconvenience for 2 weeks, but you're not looking at a significant inconvenience for 24 weeks.
690 is being closed to work on deck replacements for 2 of its bridges. More than 50,000 vehicles travel on the highway each day.
In the coming weeks, these seats will be filled with people who will decide if George Zimmerman is guilty of killing Trayvon Martin. The trial began this morning where 500 potential jurors are expected to be questioned. Once again, a judge denied Zimmerman's lawyers' request for more time to prepare for the trial. Zimmerman is charged with second-degree murder for shooting Martin last year.
Since 2009, 33% more Syracuse City School District graduates have gone to college. NCC's Brian McClune is in studio to tell us one of the reasons for the increase. Brian?
Thanks, Elliot. In 2008, Say Yes to Education started in Syracuse with a goal to make sure every student in Syracuse has the ability to reach his or her academic potential.
Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your child's education.
At John T. Roberts School, the Syracuse Say Yes to Education program celebrated its 5-year anniversary.
Our goal is to really better the lives of young people in our community by really addressing the challenges and barriers that lead to academic success.
The Say Yes program has made the atmosphere of learning more current and more obtainable.
More than 21,000 graduates of Syracuse City School District high schools have used Say Yes support to attend college. 93 SCSD graduates who entered college in 2009 earned degrees from a 4-year college. 3 members of the first Say Yes group here in Syracuse was in attendance today. The new college graduates came up to the podium and shared stories about how the program changed their lives.
I was able to challenge myself and accomplish goals I set for myself academically and individually.
Say Yes started to change chances, big and small in my life, chances that I've taken.
It's hard to say how it hasn't affected my life. Put me through college, paid for everything. I just graduated from Hobart, debt-free. I mean, we all know what that means in an economy like this. It's a pretty big deal.
Since 2008, Say Yes has offered more than $41 million in college scholarship support, and 70% of all kindergarten and through 5th grade students have benefited from the Say Yes after-school programs. Live in the studio, Brian McClune, back to you guys.
I was hoping for some sunshine this week, but it looks like we have some storms heading our way. Paige Sedgwick is live on the weather deck to tell us more. Paige?
That's right, Kayla. If you tuned into our 4 o'clock newscast, you would see that it was raining a lot harder, but now it's only sprinkling and it's starting to clear up, but still overcast. So if you're planning on going sailing today or taking your boat out, I'd still opt to wait to go this weekend because it's not clearing up anytime soon. Let's take a look at our current temperatures. Right now it's currently 67 degrees out. The barometer is reading at 30.01 inches falling. The humidity is at 86% and the wind is blowing east from 9 miles per hour. Later on, I will have your full weather report. Kayla and Elliot, back to you.
Oh, that's something we never want to see, an umbrella on the weather shot. Students in California settle back into their daily routines after last week's deadly shooting.
And Cortland has big plans for its repertory theater. See why its new location may attract a bigger audience.
My name is Jeremy Menard. My package is about crunch. They're down 0-2 in the series. If you hear things are looking up. I have full confidence that they'll be able to turn it around. Awesome. You're good. Tie. There. It's all the way up. Like there's no more. Yeah, there's no more going up. Nope. Half that back. Is that good? Half more. Isn't 2 halves then a whole? Can I just? I was cutting it in half. Is that a serious question? Yeah. What she do? She asked you if I look good? No, she said, can you do this on the ice?
Now here's a look at news around the world. Whitey Bulger's trial has been delayed and floods in Central Europe continue to cause damage. But first, students at Santa Monica College are returning to classes today. The college reopened with extra security after a gunman's deadly rampage on Friday. 23-year-old John Zawari killed 5 people, including his father and older brother. Victim Marcela Franco died early Sunday morning after her family took her off life support. Franco was in an SUV with her father Carlos when bullets struck the car. Carlos Franco died at the scene of the shooting. Whitey Bulger's defense attorneys asked the judge to delay the start of his murder trial. They want to investigate a claim that law enforcement protected one of the key witnesses. The witness admitted to killing 20 people. Bulger is charged with committing or ordering 19 murders in the 1970s and 80s. He was scheduled to go on trial Wednesday. Several villages in Germany were evacuated because of extensive flooding from the Elbe River. Water levels reached more than 16 feet above normal, but they are starting to recede. Weeks of heavy rain this spring have caused the river to overflow, causing extensive damage in central and southern Germany. At least 22 flood-related deaths have been reported, and more than 23,000 people had to leave their homes yesterday. Former South African leader Nelson Mandela remains in intensive care after being hospitalized 2 days ago. The 94-year-old has been taken to the hospital with a recurring lung infection. Mandela has a history of lung problems dating back to his days as a political prisoner. The presidential office says Mandela is in serious but stable condition. And that's a look at news around the world. For more, check out NCC News online.
Today's look at the central New York economy takes us to Cortland County. The summer season of the Cortland Repertory Theater kicked off last Wednesday with Agatha Christie's The Unexpected Guest. It's one of 7 shows that will be performed this year. But as the season begins, the theater has even bigger plans for the future. All shows must come to an end, but the 42nd season of the Cortland Repertory Theater is only just beginning. More than 17,000 people came to the theater last season, but artistic director Kirby Thompson says this season has the potential to be the best one yet.
I'm really excited about it. I think we're starting off strong, and subscriptions are up. You know, that's always a good indicator. Group sales are up from last year too, so it looks very promising.
But Thompson and those at the theater have another reason to be excited. That's because renovations continue to move forward on the theater's year-round headquarters in downtown Cortland. The renovation process still has a ways to go, but Thompson and other Cortland residents say having the finished product downtown will allow the theater to diversify its audience.
I think we'll have a different audience because we're right next to SUNY Cortland, so we're hoping that if not the students, then we'll get some of the professors who may not be here for the summer to come, and you know, we can appeal to them.
I think they'll get more people to come now that it's more local instead of out in the country area where people don't really know where it's at.
It's a pretty straightforward equation. More people equals more business. But ask some local businesses and they'll tell you the theater's impact on the local economy goes beyond how many people attend each show. Skip Boise has owned the Tavern on Main Street for 45 years. He says having the theater downtown increases the possibility of people spending money at other nearby attractions.
Some come in and visit and stay a couple days and see a show and go someplace. Anything that brings new people into the community is good, and anything that entertains the people that are here and gets them to expend their dollars for entertainment, it's good.
But enthusiasm for having the theater downtown hasn't necessarily translated into locals donating money to the cause.
We knew it was going to be a tough haul raising funds, but it's been a little bit tougher than we thought.
Thompson says over $1 million has already been raised to help with renovations, but he says another $750,000 is needed to finish the process. Now the theater's location in Preble will continue to be used during the summer, but Thompson says the goal is for the downtown theater to be functioning and open to the public by fall of 2014. For more information on the Cortland Repertory Theater and the downtown renovation process, visit our website at NCC News Online.
Coming up, stormy weather is a-brewing.
Paige Sedgwick has the full forecast, and unfortunately it has a familiar theme to it. We'll be right back.
As you noticed when I was outside on the weather deck, it's starting to look a little better outside, thank goodness. And the rain is starting to die down, but it's going to be pretty consistent for tonight. Let's take a look at our current temperatures. We're currently at 67 degrees out. The barometer's reading at 30.01, and it's falling, so we are going to have rain throughout the rest of the evening. The humidity's at 86%, and we have winds coming in from the east at 9 miles per hour. Let's take a look at our almanac. All right, so usually our normal temperatures for today are 76 degrees, and the normal low is 55. But in our records, we had a high of 94 degrees in 1974 and a low of 37 degrees in 1988. So let's be thankful it's not 37 degrees right now. Let's take a look at our Doppler radar. As you see, Syracuse right here, and all the surrounding areas are in light green. It means that we're going to get light rain. And this screen is all green today, which means it's going to be consistently raining all night tonight and this afternoon, unfortunately. Let's move on to our state temperatures. As you can see, Syracuse is at 67, and the surrounding areas are all in the low 60s. The highest temperature right now is in Watertown at 74, and that's just because the water hasn't hit it yet. As soon as it hits there, the temperature is going to die down. Let's take a look at our national temps, why don't we? As you can see, over on the west coast in Oregon and Washington, it's still pretty cold in the 50s, unfortunately. But besides that, across the map, we're in the 60s and 70s. Down south, we're in the 80s and high 70s, so it's warm down there. And over on the East Coast, we're in the low 60s, 70s. Tonight, we're going to have showers, possible thunderstorms, winds picking up 15, 20 miles per hour, and a low of 60 degrees. And for tomorrow, let's take a look. We're going to have scattered showers, possible thunderstorms. We're going to have winds 5 to 10 miles per hour and a high of 71. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. All right, so tomorrow it's going to be a high of 71 degrees and a low of 62, and it's going to have possible thunderstorms. And Wednesday we're going to have 30% chance of rain, and it's going to be pretty wet. Thursday's actually going to look up for us and be pretty sunny at a high of 74 degrees. And then Friday it's going to rain again, unfortunately, guys.
So I guess we better take out our rain boots for the beginning of this week.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Thanks, Paige. Coming up in sports, the Syracuse Crunch are back on the road again, looking to bounce back from last night's loss.
And the Syracuse Chiefs are back home tonight, trying to avoid back-to-back losses. We'll have your highlights right after the break. Stay tuned.
Read what? I don't know what I'm not.
12. You're floating chasing kid.
Okay. A big play.
Okay.
The Crunch down 2 in the chase for the Calder Cup. The Crunch lost to the Griffins last night 6-4. The Crunch lost back-to-back games for the first time in this year's playoffs. The series now moves to Grand Rapids. NCC's Jeremy Menard is live downtown at the War Memorial and tells us the change in location might be for good timing.
Well, Casey, the arena behind me is empty, which isn't exactly a bad thing. That means that the Crunch are on the road, a place where they've had success so far this postseason.
You know, disappointed we're down 2-0. The good part is we're the best road team in the league, far and away the best road team in the league.
During the Crunch's current playoff run, they have gone a perfect 5-0 on the road. But in front of the Syracuse faithful, they have struggled. All 3 of their losses this postseason have been at the War Memorial.
I wouldn't say that it's anything particular. We have a great fan support here, and we have a loud building. But for some reason, so far, we've been playing really well on the road.
But generally speaking, this trend goes against the traditional norm.
Yeah, I mean, most times you're obviously better at home than you're on the road. But even during the regular season, we did a good job on the road.
Home field advantage, or in this case, home ice advantage, is something that has been debated for years. A study conducted 2 years ago highlighted this exact theory, focusing on attendance patterns at American pro sporting events. In the NHL, the trend showed the bigger the crowd, the more penalties and close calls that went against the visiting team. This all led to a higher percentage of home victories. During the regular season, the Crunch averaged just under 5,400 fans per game. This past Saturday and Sunday, more than 6,000 fans passed through these turnstiles. But both games resulted in a home loss.
Well, it's always nice to play in front of your fans. It always helps you out, but just haven't played that well at home. Even during the regular season, we had a real tough time, especially at the beginning of the season here.
To bring the series back to Syracuse, the Crunch will need to win at least 2 out of 3 in Grand Rapids. And to then win the Calder Cup, they will need to crawl out of a historically deep hole. In the history of the AHL, only 8 teams have won a best-of-7 series after losing the first 2 games at home. To rally in the Calder Cup finals, the Crunch would have to match the 2010 Hershey Bears, the only team in AHL history to accomplish this feat.
The Crunch left for Grand Rapids last night after the game so that they could have 2 full days of practice. Game 3 is scheduled for Wednesday evening. Live at the Onondaga War Memorial, Jeremy Menard, NCC News.
After a big championship weekend for local student athletes, they're back in school today. But tonight, many local student athletes will be honored at the Section 3 Scholar Athletes Award Dinner. For a full list of the scholars, visit nccnewsonline.com. The Syracuse Chiefs were also in action on Sunday against Pawtucket, even if most Syracuse fans were downtown for the Crunch game. The Chiefs were coming off a 2-game winning streak, but Pawtucket jumped out to an early 4-0 lead, capped by this home run by Brock Holt in the 2nd inning right here. Micah Owens hit 2 home runs in the game, but the Chiefs could not complete the comeback and fell 5-3. Syracuse and Pawtucket meet again tonight at 7. The Miami Heat in San Antonio getting ready for 3 straight games on the road against the Spurs. The Heat, with no help from LeBron James, crushed the Spurs in the second half. Game 3 of the finals is tomorrow at 9. The game was neck and neck until Mario Chalmers of the Heat went on a 33-5 run. Chalmers had a team high of 19 points. LeBron James held out 2, but not in the first half. He only got 4 baskets then. He gets the basket right here, the biggest impact of the game. And Thiago Splitter, he goes up for a routine dunk, but he gets blocked by James. The Heat win 103-84. Following the game, Spurs head coach Greg Popovich, as always, kept his answers quite eloquent on the Heat's 35-9 run.
They did a great job.
It's a mess.
How would you describe it from your end?
They did a great job. That's what I thought.
Stolen by James. Miller ahead. Here it goes. Down.
The day has finally arrived after being swept by the last-place Marlins on back-to-back weekends. The Mets are starting their own purge. Not quite as violent as the movie, but it still has Mets fans closing their eyes. 3 Mets were demoted yesterday, including Ike Davis. Josh Hatton is expected to be recalled to play first base on Tuesday night. Big Play Monday returns this week, and Alexi Casilla is an unlikely star. With the Rays already ahead 5-1 in the bottom of the 2nd inning, Desmond Jennings takes off from the 1st. Matt Wieters throws a seed to second, but on the wrong side of the base, Casilla catches spin, tries out for Dancing with the Stars, and still tags out Jennings without looking. Quite the play from the Orioles' second baseman.
We'll be right back.
The number of adults using smartphones is increasing across the country, with 56% of adults owning one. The majority of these smartphone owners have either an iPhone or an Android, which leads us to the question, which one is better? In my NCC News web exclusive, I spoke with younger and older adults who gave me their reasons for why either of them chose that type. Take a look at the entertaining responses and also log on to NCC News just in case you're wondering where your nearest map of location of where your place is. Live in the newsroom, Amber Roberts.
And that's the NCC News 445 report. I'm Elliot Polikoff.
And I'm Kayla Bennett. Thanks for watching, and good night.